I was thinking to myself, I said, okay, I think I may have made a mistake scheduling both shows on the same day. Because it's like kind of like, Smokebox and then Dr. Green.
I saw that. I saw
like
wow.
this. Okay.
Today we got Jesse from Blood In, Blood Out in the Smokebox. Cannot wait. It's been a long time coming. It's gonna probably talk about Blood In, Blood Out. They just had a screening at Cal State LA, which I was very bummed out that I didn't go to because that's the college that I went to and all that. But I heard it was great.
Oh, yeah. Bam. And then Jimmy wrote a bunch of original poetry. But crazy. Yeah? It's true. Look at that. That's what I'll be talking a lot about, Hatton. Bam. And Noah just got out, dude. No one was doing.
So he went to jail, huh?
Dude. Yeah, he just got out. He's looking good.
Because we were asking about that kid, like what happened to him? He did like 2 or 3 movies and then you didn't see him.
But look, a lot of Adon's original art. Jesse Borrego right here, celebrating 30 years of Chicano excellence. About to drop into the Smokebox right here on BREALTV. Vatos Locos Forever. Yeah, baby, loving it. BREALTV. Mero carnal right here. About to have some fun. But a friend of mine said he wanted to smoke.
Yeah.
So what's the concept? What was the original concept of the Smokebox?
What we used to do back in the day was after, like, let's just say we finished mixing the songs in the studio, we'd come to the car and listen to the songs. You know what I mean? And smoke out while we're listening to them, and then, like, you know, talk about what we liked or didn't like. Did it work or not work? You know, is this going on the album or not going on the album? So we thought let's do a conversation in the car while smoking.
Liston.
Get it.
Hot signs going off. Let's go ahead and close the signs, please.
Welcome to this year's brand new Smokebox for the year. I'm Dr. Green Thumb. Hello, and I'm here joined with my good friend Jesse Borrego. What's up, bro?
Vida Loca.
Much love to my bro. We've known each other for a long time, and I mean, we've watched each other come up for a long time. I was watching you first, and I want to say congratulations on the 30-year anniversary for Mi Vida Loca. Last year was for Blood In, Blood Out. And man, you just keep hitting them, bang bang,
Boom, boom.
boom boom.
Well, it's good to know, you know, you guys are celebrating 30th anniversary too last year. So to me, it's inspiring to know that
Cheers to that.
Bang.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
So,
You know,
loco.
a lot of great art was getting put out, and that, you know, that particular year, man. I gotta say, man, it was amazing, and you just kept coming, you know, with different things. But what I want to talk to you about first was your first look was Fame, right? It was the very first time we all had seen a Latino like in a role like that and a show like that. I mean, it was revolutionary. It was different, you know, based off of the movie coming into a TV show, and to get a Latino lead in there.
Crazy.
That was awesome to watch you get that. Let me ask you this though: were a lot of the people on the set with you guys doing the scenes, were they actual students or were they pros?
We had both. I mean, that was the great thing about a show like that. You know, there was definitely, at that time, there was a lot of popularity in, you know, high schools of performing arts.
Yeah.
So even in San Antonio, Texas, where I'm from, they were converting a lot of even, you know, barrio high schools into some sort of an arts magnet. There was a recognition that arte and cultura can influence these young people, especially in their situation, you know, and that was the same in the ghettos, you know, when you're talking about New York. And so that's what Fame was representing. If you looked at the movie, the Alan Parker movie, he was talking about these kids coming from these, you know, these neighborhoods reaching for their dreams. And dude, that's us.
Yeah.
So to me, I lived Fame, even though I was in a Chicano neighborhood, even though I was coming up through the culture, you know, but my father, like I said, was a musician. So I saw it from an artistic point of view. So when I saw that flick and then had an opportunity to audition for the show, Definitely.
Yeah.
And I didn't try to pretend like I was a Puerto Rican from Nueva York, which is really what they would have expected.
Yeah, that's kind of what
I
they
was
wanted you to
stone
be.
cold Chicano.
Chicano, yeah.
Jesse Borrego sang to them in Spanish off the bat.
Yeah.
I sang one of my father's songs that he had recorded.
On your casting.
Yeah.
That's dope.
So right away they went, uh-oh. And then I stopped in the middle and I said, oh, by the way, I can sing in English too. And busted out a Gap Band ballad that was hitting at that point.
Oh, nice.
Gap Band
Which
wasn't really
one?
known. Nothing Comes to Dreamers.
Nothing comes to dreamers.
Nothing comes to dreamers but a dream. Oh, oh. Everything must change, but nothing comes to dreamers but a dream. And homeboy from, Wilson from the Gap Band, he had a beautiful voice.
Yeah, he did.
So to be singing a ballad,
Uncle Charlie.
if you were, Uncle Charlie. So if you were into funk music, if you were into oldies like we were coming
Yeah.
up in the 70s and 80s, for him to sing a ballad. So at that time, like I said, as an artist, I was absorbing everything. My father's music. Pop music on the radio.
You know what? That's crazy because I think we all did absorb a little bit everything. Like, so if you had brothers and sisters that were older than you and they listened to a
My
certain
carnala was the alpha
what I mean?
performer, home.
Right.
She
Your
taught
mother-
me the disco dance.
your mother,
She taught
father,
me-
listened to their styles, and you sort of like, if you were in the car with them or at home with them and they were cranking it, you sort of, listened to that. Because I remember going through the same shit. I got older brothers and sisters, and they were always into like the oldies and stuff like that. They didn't listen to a lot of the rock shit. It was mostly oldies and soul. My father, he liked the doo-wop shit, and my mother liked the Caribbean, and she liked the Beatles and things like that. So all these different, I think a lot of
You
us,
hear all of that in your music.
I think a lot of us
Yeah.
grew up just like that, where we got our parents' influences, but we, we're having experiences with all these different music genres, man. I think that's why a lot of us come up so open-minded to music like
So
that.
when we evolved as artists, and like I said, at that time, I was 22 years old, bro.
Hell yeah.
And here I am next to Janet Jackson on stage.
Yeah.
So we were in the groove. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So when you guys were ready to come out, you already had evolved your art to the point where now this is how we're going to do it.
Yeah, I mean, you were basically representation for us even before we realized it was representation. It
Yeah.
sort of opened up the gates for a lot of us, like in saying there's gems in the Latino community of all sorts.
Yeah.
Whether it's Puerto Rican cats or Mexican cats, Colombian, Cuban, and the list goes on. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? They're seeing that there's gems there.
And Fame was that type of, there was very few shows
It's a launching pad
in
for you guys.
television, that were diverse like that. And
Do you feel
we
you
had black leads, we had Latinos, we had Jewish characters,
Yeah.
we had female characters
That's
that were
what
very
was
strong.
that was
Debbie
what was
Allen.
that was what was dope about it, is that like it wasn't based off of any one group of people. It's based off of all these kids from different places and trying to live a dream.
And you couldn't help but have the LA influence, because even though it was based in New York, and we'd shoot about 3 weeks before the season started, we were shooting it right here in Culver City. We were at MGM Studios. Sony was MGM back in the day with the big old lion. So that's where we were, in the middle of Culver City, filming this on these New York inside sets.
Really?
Yeah.
That's dope.
Yeah.
Because
So-
from the outside world, everybody thought you guys were in New York City.
I used to say when I'd walk on the set, I'd go, "Hey, this doesn't look right. The streets in New York are dirtier than this. We need a couple of ratas here.
Hey, at that
We need a
time,
couple of ratones."
at that time, definitely was.
Yeah.
They cleaned it up, but
They
at that
cleaned
time,
it up,
shoot.
bro. It was.
Hey, do
I
you-
miss the old Times Square though, bro.
Yeah.
It was
Old
a
Times
little
Square
rowdy,
was,
but
it was gritty. Hell yeah.
good.
Hey, do you feel like you could have went to one of those schools, or did you go to a performing arts school?
No, luckily I was able to, in school, I had good teachers, man, that recognized, like I said, my sister was an alpha performer, so she got me into choir. And once these maestras figured me out and said, this is where this kid is good. They were always putting me in, I was always in the talent shows. I was always the kid doing the announcements. In high school, I was doing the most popular because I wasn't the one that wasn't afraid to pull my pants down in front of everybody,
The personality kid.
I was the personality kid. You know what I'm saying? But coming from the barrio, you filter all that through your personality of who you are in the hood.
Yeah.
And to me, it was always about celebrating who we were. My dad was a barrio intellectual. My dad andaba in La Circle, and he tiro tiempo and all that stuff. But my dad was an artist and a musician.
So it was in your blood to begin with.
So our culture was a part of me. So the same thing as I tried to navigate myself as an artist, it was like, oh, okay, I'm living on two sides right now. I got two languages I can play with. I got two cultures I can code with. I got vatos locos that are also músicos, that are also rap artists, that are also artists. So I grew up in that onda. When I met Adan Hernandez, even though I didn't know him, it turned out that we knew all the same artists. Jesse Trevino, Mel Casas, all the Chicano artists now that you see in the books as the first Chicano artists. You go to Chiche's museum,
museum,
and he's got a lot of their art. There's a big Tejano collection along with the Los Angeles
the
movement.
Chicano culture,
So between knowing the movements, and even when I started coming to LA in the 80s, the Osco people, Patsy Valdez, Gronk, they were all coming from some sort of late 70s movement into the 80s.
Yeah.
So that's what we grew up when. By the time we were hitting it in the early 90s and we were doing our stuff, we were ready to create the next generation of cultural influence. We didn't know it then because you guys were just doing music and I was just doing as many authentic characters as I could.
Yeah.
Because think about it. I went from Blood In, Blood Out, Crucito, to El Duran, who was a pinto, right?
Yeah.
Who was much harder than Crucito and had no art in him other than the poetry that he would write.
Yeah,
to his
Crucito
chick.
was an artist and Duran was an actual gangster.
Yeah, this vato was hardcore.
Yeah.
Then to Alexis, and I like it like that, to represent my New Yorican people.
Yeah.
In that story. So I was trying to show people, look, we're here as Latinos. We're ready to go. But the issue was the industry wasn't ready yet. So every one of those projects ran up against some sort of a roadblock to commercial success. You heard what we're talking about?
Yeah.
Not cultural success, obviously.
Yeah.
Shit, the other night at Cal State LA, dude, it was crazy where I was like, what the hell is going on? And this movie's 30 years old. But you see the multi-generations of raza that have come up with it.
Yeah.
And so I'm sure you experience this after 30 years.
Yeah, for
it's
sure.
It's multi-generational, and yet there's still an entire audience. Internationally, when you guys go travel internationally, it's like another wave of popularity.
Yeah.
And I tell people, I go, look, Blood In, Blood Out came out and was squashed here as Bound by Honor, right?
Yeah.
But out there, it came out as Sangre por Sangre.
Oh, yeah. It blew up.
It blew up.
Yeah, and everybody
And
knows.
now you go to Japan. They were telling a story the other day about a Japanese tourist who was at Cinco Puntos, right? And Raymond Cruz, who plays Chewy, was going, I was sitting at Cinco Puntos having a tamale, and this guy didn't recognize me, but it was a Japanese tourist, and he was dressed all
straight
the way.
up,
Dude.
yeah.
He had his Pendleton, he had his khakis, and he's posing in front of El Pino, right? And Raymond Cruz, he goes, hey, ask him, and the guy didn't even speak English. He just asked the translator, hey, ask him why he's dressed like that. Oh, I love Chicano culture, I love El Pino, all of this, right? And he said to him, okay, but why are you dressed like that? He goes, well, I love the movie Blood In, Blood Out. And he goes, really? So then he found out who he was, and he was blown away. So he said, in Japan, there are enormous groups of Blood In, Blood Out fans. In Japan. Now, I know they're into lowriding culture. I've known that for many decades. They're into Chicano culture. But to specifically say, hey, we love this story, we love this, and we're going to go look at the places that we saw in this film across the world. We're gonna go visit
Hey,
El
man.
Pino. We're
That's-
gonna
that's
visit
crazy.
Cinco Puntos.
That's beautiful when it has an effect like that.
Yeah, and fame is like that in Europe.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, a lot of people grew up to that and were inspired by seeing y'all as kids, like coming up and like, you know, working on the craft as it lays out in the school and dealing with life. But it inspired other kids to like want to go to those schools and
Yeah.
try to be that.
Yeah.
I mean, Tupac was one of those, you know, people who attended
Yeah.
performing arts school and many others in the game.
Isai Morales
Yeah.
went to performing arts.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people that are successful actors now got their start at a high school of performing arts.
Gives them
Yeah.
the tools.
Yeah.
Hey man, salute to all the performing arts schools and congratulations on 30 year on both. I just want to say this: you want to watch the rest of this, go to www.BREALTV and catch the rest. All right, and make sure you subscribe, and leave the likes. You know, pop them off, do all the things.
Got the heart of a lion, soul of a titan, mind of a genius, with fly with the heighten. All your senses is senseless, resistant, relentless. It's what they call you when your grind is endless. Let's get this.
They say I'm psycho, I move weight like lipo. Got a big crib like Michael, out the window with a rifle. My wrist game on light show. I'm backstage with white hoes. I got pre-rolls in that red cup, that's key lime, don't like those.